Hello everyone, and in this one, we are going to be upgrading this PC, which is my current one, into this. So here's all the parts that's going to be building this new PC. It's not just an upgrade, it's a whole entire new PC, and it totaled up to around $2,700, and it's all going to go inside of this case, which is a mini ITX case. And that means that the build's going to be pretty small, but that was what I was going for. It's not going to do anything to the performance, so let's get into it. All the videos that I watched usually starts with the motherboard first, so I will too. So let me open this up. Oh my god, would you believe it? There is a motherboard inside. So here it is out of its plastic and everything. It is insanely tiny compared to my hand. But for this motherboard, I'm going to be using the AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D, which is pretty much the best gaming CPU that you can get other than the 9950X3D, which is just, I don't really feel like spending an extra $300 on that for pretty much the same performance. But I'm gonna go ahead and open this thing up and see if I can put it in. Well, bam, there's the CPU. Okay, now the CPU's in its socket thing. And then I'm supposed to flick the lever, which feels unnecessarily hard to do, which makes me feel like I'm gonna break the CPU or something. But after that, the cover thingy popped off, and then I can grab it, and then I can throw it away. But yeah, that was simple enough. And then I do the RAM next, because I got to see if the CPU cooler can fit in with it, already in its place. And there you go, there's the RAM. Vengeance something, but it's DDR5, the fastest one you can get, I think. Also, if you're building a PC too, take the sticker off the RAM. I forgot to do that like 5 days after I built it. And if you want to see me put in the other RAM stick, well, yeah, you can't. Let's go for round 2 on tightening up the first RAM stick. Okay. Oh, and it's falling. It's falling, the camera. Oh, it's gone. Let's go in for round 3 on the second stick of RAM, and it fell. I gotta get a camera guy, I swear. But here is the motherboard without the M.2 drive that I'm about to install. And this is a 2TB PCIe 4 M.2 by Samsung that goes right here. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I'm pretty new to PC building, so I thought I needed a screwdriver for this M.2 thing to come loose on the motherboard, but it really, you just needed to push this metal thing here to release the M.2 holder thing. And then I found this weird gigabyte thingy there. It looked like a thermal pad. And there was also another one inside of a packet. I had no idea what the one was inside of the packet, so I just ignored it, and then I put the M.2 in, which was pretty bouncy. But I didn't really care that much, so I just put the M.2 holder thingy back, which made my motherboard look a bit more complete. But now I'm gonna do the case. So this is the Mushroom D case. It's smaller than my hand if I spread my hand out. Anyways, here it is laying flat on its side. There's my hand. And I'll need another case soon because of reasons you'll see later on in the video. But it's going to be really nice having a small case like this, especially for portability, bringing it from place to place. It's like a mystery box. I don't know what's inside of it. Oh. And then here's the inside of the case, which is pretty compact. And I took the mounting thingy off there first of all because I couldn't fit the motherboard inside if I didn't. I also got kind of confused because there was already a power cable inside of it, and I've never seen something like that, which I'll explain later. But here's my power supply. It is insanely tiny for 850 watts, and it's dead silent. Anyways, here's the confusing part about the power supply. You got a place to plug in a power cable to it there, with one from like the PC case, but you also got a spot on the PC case that you could plug one in there. So like, what? But then I realized I was there just for the sake of making the case a bit more compact and able to fit other stuff inside of it. Anyways, here's the first CPU cooler that I picked out that I thought would work, but it was actually an AM4 CPU cooler, which my motherboard only takes an AM5 one. Now, it's possible that this one could have worked, but I didn't want to take my chances on breaking some very expensive stuff. In the meantime, while getting another CPU cooler, I figured out how to install the power supply, which I just did, which is plugged into by the power cable installed in the case. Anyways, here's the new CPU cooler that I decided to pick up. It is AM5 compatible, and it sucked. And you'll see why. But here's the CPU cooler out of its case. I thought it didn't have thermal paste, but apparently that white crap was thermal paste. But that's fine. I just licked it off. But there's that bad boy installed along with all the power supply cables. And what comes after that is the graphics card, which is a 5070 Ti that cost me $840, and I'm cutting it open with my kitchen knife. Inside of the graphics card box was a graphics card. Kind of felt like I was staring down someone's shirt by looking inside of it like this. But anyways, there's the card. Looks really nice, gold and black. There was only one good sticker pull. All right, there it is. It's installed. Boom, graphics card. Yay. So I got that finished up, which meant that the computer was absolutely completely ready to be turned on. I chucked a panel on it, put it on the desktop, which isn't very secure. As you can see, it's a bit wobbly. Maybe it's time I do a desk upgrade video. I don't know. But I got everything downloaded, ready to test the games out. And you know, you can't just not do Fortnite when you upgrade a computer. So I booted that up along with MSI Afterburner, and that CPU temperature up there is the exact reason why I could not use that CPU cooler that I had in there any longer. So with the new CPU cooler that I installed, the temperatures are so much better. They are like 20 to 25 degrees less than what I had before. But let's get on with the comparison between my old setup and my new one. So for this first comparison, I'm going to be using performance mode in pretty much all low settings, except there's one difference. The top, which is my new one, will be using 1440p, and the bottom one will be using 1080p resolution. But anyway, here we are squashed into a game here. You can see that we're well into the hundreds on the bad computer at the bottom, but at the top we are in like the 300s, 400s. It says the high is 600, so that's pretty good. But anyway, what I can tell from this so far is that my CPU on the old system really needed the upgrade because it's running at almost 100%, unlike how the new one is running at like 40 to 50%. The GPU was fine as long as I wasn't using much graphics like performance mode doesn't, which is why you don't see a big difference. But the FPS is almost 5 times higher on the new system than the old one. And there's not really much else to say about that, so let's go ahead and take a look at the comparison where I'm using max settings on both setups. So like I said, I'm going to be using all of the highest settings possible. So hopping right into it, I was pretty much instantly able to load into my game up top on the new computer, but on the old computer, it took 3 minutes to load into the game and I was already out of the battle bus. So the time it took to load has definitely been improved a whole lot. And I really can't tell if it's because of the graphics card or if it's because of the CPU on the old system that it took so long to load. But we are using max graphics, and that was on a 4060 Ti. As you can see here, max graphics doesn't really mean max graphics unless it loads in. But above, it's looking just fine, except the CPU temperature, it's actually getting kind of worrying. 86, 84, not the best. But I was getting around 70 to 80 FPS on the new system, while I was getting sometimes 1 FPS on the old system. Take a look at this. Just admire how crappy it looked. But you know what? That's okay. I wasn't ever planning on playing on max graphics for the old system or even the new one at all. I guess in conclusion for this comparison, the old PC fluctuated so much that sometimes I was getting 1 FPS, while the new PC is always at least 60 FPS and above. You could call it 60 times better. I don't really know though. So let me know what you think about this. That's going to be the end of the comparison. So if I had any advice for upgrading your computer, upgrade the thing that's at 100% usage, like my CPU was. I probably did not need to get another GPU, but I did because, you know what, why not? I don't know. You just don't want to have a component that's bottlenecking another component like my CPU was. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.